right, it being 6:30, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Here.
Mrs. Rogers,
Here.
Mr. Roach,
Here.
Mr. Benedetti, Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Durig,
Here.
Solicitor Nicholas,
Here.
Solicitor Gannon,
Here.
Mr. Lennon.
Here.
Do I hear a motion to approve the August 19th, 2025 minutes?
I'll make that motion. A second.
Roll call vote.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Okay, engineers report, please.
Okay, going to the monthly report. Village of Lawrence, under the collection system construction contract. The last big item is the lawn restoration we've talked about. Contractor, because of how dry it is, kicked back the landscape subcontractors the first week of October. The gentleman that was at a couple meetings ago, he did call him and give him an update, and he said he was happy with the update. So we're going to keep pushing, but need some rain too. So wastewater plant. So we did have a field walkthrough. Mike and myself and Jeremy from my office, we went through and did a walkthrough of everything. We did issue a updated punch list, which is the blue sheets and the yellow copy of the report, that table. So working with the contractor on the punch list, whittling away. A lot of this is little stuff you should be able to knock out pretty quickly. Some of it's process stuff. Like Mike had requested for the operations staff that the treatment plant manufacturer, equipment manufacturer, come out and do some more process training. So they've scheduled that, I believe, for a couple weeks out. So, and some like anomalies of the UV system, they're going to look into. I know Mike's been talking to the manufacturer, but contractor's responsible to take care of that type of stuff. On the roadway, I'm going back and forth with the contractor. I reported a couple meetings ago about the drainage. We believe it's on the contractor, so we're discussing with them to take care of that. And there's some site drainage things we're looking at too at the treatment plant site with the tank modifications when we did that whole rebid to save, what was it, $5 million. We have some drainage issues that we're working through with the contractor too, and some final grading stuff. So no pay request for the contractor tonight. Right now we're in the retainage. So with this punch list, we're going to track everything. As things come off the list, they do retainage, but right now this is the first list, so they need to start whittling away at the punch list. So the hope is they complete this contract in the next several months, and then also with the collection system contractor, with the lawn restoration punch list items, they'll be closing out here in the next several months too, as a plan. So we do have a Penvest payment request number 27, the amount of $13,365.28 for consideration, and that's for interest during construction and engineering. Going under developments, Traditions of America, they're working on phase 7. They're working on main line and manhole testing. No bond reduction requested, so no action required tonight. Silver Creek planned residential development, so there is an update there. The developer, he did submit material submittals from their contractor, and they're requesting, I believe they contacted Mike and requested a pre-construction meeting be set up, so we'll be scheduling that. So they're looking to start construction. So Iron Ridge, formerly Steel Town, there was a change in name in the development, planned residential development. So we did have several reviews with that developer in the last month. So if you flip back after the green sheet, the gold sheet, that is the bond review for phase 1 that was sent to the developer. Mm-hmm. And then the pink sheets, that is the latest plan review that was issued this week. One thing of note, there are 2 material substitutions that are in the plans that we requested. They submit a formal substitution request. One is related to, they want to drill across the Montour Trail, and the other one's for a stream crossing. They would like to bore under the stream with a steel casing pipe instead of doing open cut with concrete encasement. But that's something we'd bring to the board, but we'd want them to make a formal request for that. So in terms of technical items, they're pretty close on their items. Those 2 substitution requests are like the bigger items. Rest of it's pretty minor stuff at this point. So in terms of technical.
For that boring piece, does DEP have to get involved?
Yeah, so they submitted a permit to the Conservation District and DEP for that stream crossing. So assume that drilling will be part of it when they get the permit. So yeah, that might tidy it up when they submit it. So.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant Sewer System Southview area. So the update there, we did receive the plans from KLH, which is Mount Pleasant's engineer. for the Southview area. We looked at the elevations. We looked at the elevations of your system, and we could do it by gravity without a pump station. So that's a good finding. We're going to meet with them next week. Also, the solicitor's office. I think they're going to have a board member there from Mount Pleasant also with KLH and start talking about next steps to keep moving on this feasibility analysis and cost sharing, how much grant funding they have available, how much money is needed to complete the project, and then come back to this board to discuss if you'd like to proceed. So,
Okay.
Who's compensating for your time during this due diligence? Are we covering that
We
now?
are covering that
All
right
it-
now.
For a certain time and limit, or how we
We're monitoring
watching it? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
yeah, I haven't spent much time on it to date. It's been pretty
understand.
minimal. The big cost will be if you decide to proceed, then it would go to an Act 537 plan revision with the township, and that's a large study where you look at alternatives analysis, impact to the ratepayers, rates for the new customers, and expanding your service area. That's where we'd have to have a discussion on how we want to proceed for cost.
At that point in time, how is the engineer of record determined? Is it you? I mean, is it Cecil Township because it's coming into our
If-
system?
You know,
I have my opinion, but-
I think the sense that I got was that's the direction Mount Pleasant was thinking.
Microphone.
Oh, your microphone,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry. I get the impression that was the direction Mount Pleasant was thinking, that would ultimately be, you know, on us to pilot that. Although, we don't have to. I mean, we can present it as a shared issue, or just say we want their engineer to deal with it. I mean, that's your call, but I don't even think we're there yet. you
Yeah,
know?
I'd certainly want to see the financials
Yeah.
downstream
Yeah.
and figure out, whether,
Yeah, I kind of like the fact that we would be in charge of our system.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the compensation of that effort, they're the ones that are benefiting
Yeah, I
from
think,
this.
if I recall correctly, Larry may recall more specifically, but there were a number of additions to our system that would be opened up because of that, correct? Like,
Yeah.
like
We have more
than,
opportunity.
yeah.
more than 30, 40, 50, so it was fairly significant.
I
in
think
that.
both can benefit from this.
Yeah, I
So,
think you're right.
it may be a shared situation. That's
Okay.
something that we need to think
Yeah,
about.
that
That
sounds fair.
out, yeah,
that's
okay.
fair.
And also on that subject, not to interrupt, but Roseanne, based on what you'd said earlier, you may be away then at that
I
date.
will not be here.
So, okay. Because I just thought that typically,
Yeah, I'd like to, but
Roseanne would be in play there, but if obviously anybody else on the board would like to
Brad, you want to attend?
substitute.
Yeah,
Brad
I'm
could
happy, just let
attend.
me know.
That'd be great if you can, okay.
please.
I just wanted to mention that too. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because in part of the discussion there too is going to be Mount Pleasant, if they would be a bulk customer of you, or would they want to dedicate their sewer system for that small area to the authority? There's a lot of discussions there would be part of the 537, but even preliminarily, so it'd be good to have it. Yep. Clifford Road, low pressure sewer extension. Did they submit the?
I sent over the pre-developer agreement for him to review. He basically said that he was in agreement with it. I sent over a clean copy for him to sign and return to me. I have not received it back yet.
Okay.
So as soon as we receive it and the check, then we can go forward, but until that point in time, I will follow up with that.
And that's something, once it does proceed, like, we'll talk with the board how we want to proceed on that, because it is a grinder pump, but there are adjoining properties. We'll have to have a serious conversation.
But he
how
was
we want-
trying to get, if an adjoining property tied into that, he wanted us to assume responsibility for that system. Are we still going in that direction?
We haven't done anything yet, but
We didn't get there yet. So that agreement that you have drafted up.
The pre-developer agreement, all it is in place for us to review what he submitted and for him to
Okay.
pay for the cost, for us to look and see what's feasible.
Okay.
It's not to begin construction, it's not anything along those lines. It's just so we can do my time, Larry's time, any time that the solicitor has, that's what it's to cover.
Okay.
We look at that. From my understanding, the way it was originally presented, it was supposed to be a single grinder unit just for his property because he couldn't replace his existing septic tank. Then when he came to present it to the board meeting, it changed to where it was his property, but then there's other houses on the road that eventually may be able to tie into that force main that goes up over the hill. And that's where the discussion comes in. You know, whether because we don't have anything else like that in Cecil. So, you know, what do we want to do with that?
And it crosses multiple third parties, I guess, including the township roadway for where it would tie into the manhole, so, yeah. Okay. The FLIR plan and Ridgewood sewer evaluation, I'll have to rename that. That's a CCTV project for this year, cleaning and televising. We did have the pre-construction meeting with the contractor. He did advise televising cleaning to begin late September, early October, so that'll be happening soon. We'll have one of our environmental technicians on site, especially when they're working in some of the plans that are older, some of the older lines to observe, but also documenting the manholes. That's not part of what the CCTV does, and then updating the mapping. That'll be a big part of it, getting the GIS map, getting that updated, so. Miller's Run Lift Station emergency bypass outfall repair. We did receive the permits from DEP, so we're gonna proceed with working on the bid documents. Tonight, we do have on the agenda, if you want to do a motion to advertise for bidding that project to do that repair, so. Cherry Brook Lift Station improvements, we're working on design there, so we have requested multiple vendor quotes for pumping replacements, so we're waiting on vendors to get us, it'd be for the replacement pumps and control panels for that site and see what the options are, review that with Mike, and then we develop the scope for the rest of the work, so, with the grant funding you received.
Before we move off that, let me jump back to Miller's Run, because we have the motion here. Does anybody have any questions on that Miller's Run Pump Station Emergency Bypass Repair Project?
Okay, thank you. Monaco wastewater treatment plant. So we did do a field review of Mike of the Monaco wastewater plant. The same day we did the review of all the Lawrence plants. We met with the operator there too, talked about the plant, the challenges with that existing plant. It is near the end of its service life. It might be, if we want to proceed, it'd be looking at ways we could pump that to Miller's Run, or replacing that plant, but pumping to Miller's Run would probably be the most
Is there
feasible.
capacity, Miller's Run, for that?
Yes, it's pretty small, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Was it like 10,000 gallons a day, Mike, something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit on my report too, just to say that we did meet with him. And I just haven't had a chance to get with Larry to present something formal to the board on, you know, the next steps. But one of the key pieces of that puzzle is, the condition of the collection system, because they want us to take the collection system. We can physically see what's going on with the treatment plant, but I can't see what's going on with the underground lines. So, you know, one owner wants us to foot the bill to camera it, and I'm not, that's not mine, you know, you need to do that. So that's kind of where we're at, but I'll get with Larry and we'll come up with something to make a recommendation one way or the other.
Do we know how many living units?
I think there's about approximately 100 homes.
Okay. That's more than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, under grants, you know, the update there under the grants that were already filed, the statewide LSA, they were supposed to meet this week. They just postponed that for the state budget, I believe, to November, which rolls into the next item. The statewide LSA's open for 2026. They're due at the end of November, so we'd have to adopt resolutions in November. So we'll talk with Mike, potentially reapplication for the 2 you already filed, and if there's any other new projects. And then we'll bring that back, probably the October meeting, just to get the resolutions done, and then we can get the applications ready pending any decision by the CFA on the other ones. So. Facility review, capital project plan. I've been carrying that up. If you want to proceed, if we want to budget that for next year, maybe we can talk about that with Lawrence wrapping up. So, yep.
Is he done?
Yes.
You done? It came to my attention, I understand a developer purchased a large tract of land along Burnside. Is that part of our system, or are you aware of that
No.
on Burnside? Traditions of America? I guess it would be on the Cannonsburg side of Burnside,
I don't know. Yep.
is they purchased that large tract of land that's there to develop that. But I'm under the impression, I think, after looking at some other properties in that area, it seems to be the Cannonsburg, that seems to be a border. And so, or I didn't know, is
Did
anybody
anybody
aware of that?
approach
Are you
you?
aware of that?
No, the only parcel of property up on Burnside that I was aware of is the one that Mr. Kosky owned. a
That's on
couple
the
of years-
Cecil side.
On the Cecil side. A couple
Yeah.
of years ago, he asked for a letter for, I think there was some subdivision done up there, and he just wanted to know if there was the possibility of a sewer connection, which
Right.
we did say there was at the one end of the property. It could tie into Muse. But other than that, I'm not aware of anything.
So where Brigich is at, on the other side, that small cottage home,
Oh, yes.
it's that tract of land on that side.
Okay.
So I'm,
That would be
that
Cannonsburg.
would
It's
be
on that side
Cannonsburg
of the road.
So that would not be part of our, okay, sorry there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't know if anyone had heard of it, and I just
Well, I would assume
kind
that
of
they
curious
would
about
have.
units and capacity and
Yeah.
in that area, and, okay, so that's something that,
It would have gone through Cecil Township zoning, and I didn't hear anything
you
about
didn't hear
it.
anything?
No,
No.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything.
So that-
Jack, have you heard anything? No? Okay.
No, okay.
That road must be the
It is,
mark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Turtle Twist is on the Cannonsburg side. So that's,
Yeah.
and I was looking at the property that burnt,
Yes,
so I was doing some evaluations around that area, and that's a Cecil property.
yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so I'm just assuming that, okay.
Yep.
Well, seems like there's gonna be another development maybe, or maybe
Okay.
not, wrong, right. Sorry, thanks.
All good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lennon. Go to some motions here. Excuse me, do I hear a motion to approve Penvest payment requisition number 27 in the amount of $13,365.28?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers?
Aye.
Mr. Roach?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the advertisement of Miller's Run Pump Station Emergency Bypass Repair Project?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers?
Aye.
Mr. Roach?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Nicholas, Solicitor's Report, please.
Yeah, thank you. One item is already on the agenda, that the adoption of the safety manual, which was discussed last month. The rules and regulations on hold now, and will resume upon Roseanne's return, I trust. We'll have a few recommendations at that time. A small matter, Brett, I think I had already emailed you the article on the OSHA. I passed that to everybody. I forgot to pass it out last meeting. There was a question raised about the applicability of OSHA to municipal authorities, which it isn't, but there's some movement afoot to change that. But I saw that article, just thought I'd pass it out for everyone's review. Okay? With CHJA, recall that there are three pieces of the final puzzle. One is to get the attorneys for Cannonsburg and CHJA to put together the final settlement document. They didn't, we did. We sent it to them in draft, and they're circulating it. That, and attendant to that, they'll have to amend their bylaws and articles, and/or articles, and that's a work in progress. But there was some delay. I talked to a number of the managers, and we thought rather than wait, let's just run a draft at them to move it along, which we did. Secondly, the delegation issue. North Strabane Authority to North Strabane, or North Strabane Township to North Strabane Authority, Cecil Township to Cecil Authority for the purpose of selecting a candidate to be our representative board member. We did hear back from North Strabane Township. They delegated and voted on our motion, our resolution, to delegate to North Strabane Authority that power. We have not heard back from Cecil Township. Charlie Rosini from our office, who's been working on this with me, reached out to their solicitor. She asked for another copy of it. which Charlie gave her, and have not heard back. So she followed up again. So that's all I have. I know that I had raised it a month ago, and I know that the township had it on their radar. Whether or not they had set it for an agenda, I don't know.
I'll follow up as well.
Okay. And that would, the only other item with CHJA is our group meeting. We circulated an agreement that we had put together that would be for our 5 municipal entities to agree so that we could come up with the protocol for how we appoint. Feedback was good from everyone, and Jody from Chartiers and Jason Orsini both suggested a meeting of our group to talk it through one more time. And hearing Roseanne's schedule, and she might be a proposed candidate, can wait for her return to schedule that, although I don't think it will get scheduled much earlier than that anyway. But Roseanne, what date do you get back?
I get back on Saturday, October 11th.
Okay, so we'll try to make it after October 11th. And that brings us current on CHJA. By the way, in the event that there wouldn't be feedback from the defendants, we would go to the mediator to press that. We haven't done that yet. There was last item, there was a lateral matter that I believe Mike might raise in his report, and Mike spoke to me about it, and I extracted a piece from our existing rules and regs that would be relevant to Mike's comment if he raises that. That's the reason I circulated that. And interestingly, and for other reasons, Roseanne, this might be one topic we want to address next time we have our rules and regs meeting. So because of a couple of things I pointed out to Mike in this paragraph. That's all I have. No action items.
Very good, thank you. Ms. Durek, Business Manager's Report.
All right. The financial reports for this month or for July 2025. Are there any questions?
Nope.
All right. Since our last meeting in August, we have received 23 more tap-in applications for Lawrence. That brings the total to 172. We have issued a total of 155 permits. From those permits that we've issued, 117 have been inspected. And then we do have 11 that are being held. We're waiting on the drawings or their payment, or there may be another issue. In the next week or so, I will be getting all the deduct meter accounts ready for our field guys to go out and do the readings. They will be doing the reads in October, so anyone who is participating in this program, the November bill will reflect the deduct meter read for their premise. And then last thing, today I received another CD renewal. I will contact Slovenian when the new rates are available, and then email the board to see how you all would want me to proceed. And that's it for me.
I'm sorry, could you repeat how many permits were issued, the number?
155.
Thank you.
And we have had quite a few people that, since the second notice letter went out, have made contact.
Yeah.
So that's gotten some people to come in and jar some things. So they're still coming in. So.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Zrenchek, the Authority Manager's Report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First item under old business is the notice of termination for the Teodori wastewater treatment plant. I have completed that. I will be sending that over to LSSE for review, and I know they have to complete the sign off on something on that, so I'll get that over to you. So
Cool. Yep.
we're close there. Item number 2, LNS wastewater update. Larry already covered that in the engineer's report. I just noted that I hadn't had time to follow up with him so we can kind of come up with a game plan. Item number 3, a replacement vehicle for the 2010 Ford F-250 pickup truck that we currently use as a plow truck has been found. The truck is a 2024 F-250 pickup that already has a plow and a salt spreader on it. The truck and the equipment listed for $73,062. Our cost with the end of the year incentives and the CoStar discount is $62,141. I was also able to locate another 2024 pickup that is left over. It listed for $51,990, and our cost with the end of the year incentives is $40,558. Both of these trucks are brand new. The only reason they were left over is Ford had a no-fix recall that they were having a problem finding a fix for. They finally got the fix, so that's the reason that they were available at this cost. The 2014 F-150 that we have is starting to have some rust issues, intermittent transmission issues. So it's starting to get up there. But like I said, again, there are funds set aside in the capital budget for this year. But like I said, again, you know, the discounts you got there, even by time you put your lighting and you upfit them, you're still, you know, a savings of at least $20,000. So.
Is the second one listed equipped the same as the first one listed of the 2024 model?
The only thing different on that one is it does not have the salt spreader or the plow on it.
Okay, so the 62,141 does, 51,990 does not.
Yes.
Okay.
So, item number 4, the flow equalization and sludge transfer pump for the Miller's Run sewage treatment plant. They have been ordered. The flow equalization pump is scheduled to be delivered tomorrow, but the sludge transfer pump, because of the head and the gallons per minute, there's a lead time of 6 to 8 weeks. But again, these were capital improvement items. In the budget this year, we put $50,000 in for pump replacement, so we still have plenty of funds left to replace these pumps. US EPA grant for $1 million. Finally, we were able to submit all the necessary paperwork to draw down the funds. It's been submitted. I'm just waiting to hear back if anything else is needed. But as far as what I heard from the US EPA, everything looks good on their end. I uploaded it. It looks good. So now, unless they tell me something different, we'll be able to get that $1 million drawn down, and that closes that portion out. It's been a long time coming, getting through that, but it's here and we have it. Under new business, the other equalization pump at the Cherry Brook sewage treatment plant failed today. We replaced one of these in April of this year. Both of these pumps were 31 years old, had a lot of wear damage to the volute and the impeller. Replacement cost of this pump was $64,1333. When I looked at repairing it, it was around $4,200 to repair, so it was better off replacing it. There was a 4 to 6 week lead time on this. We said there was $50,000 included in the budget for miscellaneous pump replacement. I'm going to get them to give me an updated cost on this to make sure there hasn't been a price increase, but I'm going to recommend that we replace this pump as well. Roof ventilation fans at Miller's Run treatment plant, they're not working. These are necessary to keep the airflow moving inside the blower room area of the building. We serviced these last year, and after they left, everything was working, but they told me the other day they're not. So we did a preliminary investigation and determined that the VFDs for these units have failed. If you bypass the VFDs, both blowers work as they should. I'm having our electrician take a look at this issue, and then I'm going to get a quote for the replacement of these 2 VFDs. In the meantime, if we have to use them, they can be used in hand mode, but the only problem is they'll run continuously and drain power.
What kind of temperatures are we getting that these VFDs are exposed to? Is that what's making them fail?
No, they're 18 years old. And
Okay.
they've probably taken from power surges. They've just probably seen better days. Basically, it's a real basic VFD. If you go to Radwell, you used to be able to get these VFDs for what we're looking here, and they're even tinier. I can probably get a really tiny one. You're probably looking at $300-400. It's not an expensive fix, and we have that money inside the regular maintenance items to do this. But it's like you said, it's one of those things, something else to add to the list of things that we need to work on. Item number 3, the flow equalization pump control panel for Miller's Run sewage treatment plant currently does not have a pump alternator built into it. It causes one pump to always be the lead pump unless the operator changes this by jumping the leads to make a change. That is a safety issue as well as a maintenance issue because you're using one pump continually, wearing it out. A pump alternator can be added very easily, and we're working on having this done. Our electrician took a look at this. It's a very simple fix. It's an 8-pin base with the alternator. We already have these parts from obsolete panels, so we're ahead of the game with the parts. It's just a matter of getting something wired in. We replaced, item number 4, we replaced the faulty motor starter and overloads for number 2 pump at the Georgetown Estates pump station. We also ordered a spare set, so we have them just in case something else would fail. And then item 5, oil changes have been completed on both the 2023 F350s and the 2014 F150. There is a technical service bulletin for the steering issue on both 23 trucks. The fix for this is scheduled for Monday the 22nd, but the parts are on order for the other truck because there's a back order for them, and then he said once the other parts arrive, they will schedule the repair. So that's what we have there. And then to jump over to the issue with a lateral. We had SBS Capital Group, Georgetown, which is owned by Marty Vano. He submitted his application. And basically, at the end of the day, what he is asking the authority to do, they are 3 separate buildings which have 3 separate site Ts. But currently, all 3 buildings go into one septic tank, and he just wants to use one tap. He does not want to have to tap each building in individually because he says that is cost prohibitive. We already use $15,000 worth of water during 9 months because of the water main breaks and some other things. But when I looked at this, I was over there today for some things at the Lawrence plant. There are physically 3 buildings there which they set up 3 taps. So if you're in the industrial park, Building A, which is nearest to Georgetown Road, that is the glass studio and the dance studio. So that would be one building, one connection. There's a building that sits back, that's Building B, which is in the middle. It currently houses a cycle shop or cycling, some kind of cycle fit. That would be the second building that would go into its own tap. And then Staley and Sons, which is contractor there, they're in the third building, they would have their own tap. Basically, he did give me a water bill, but it was only for 1 month, because basically we do the calculations for EDUs for commercial based on a year's worth of water usage. So if you would estimate his water usage, and I'm assuming it's for that building A, it's about 5,100 gallons a month. So if you would average that out over 12 months, he's doing about 61,000 gallons, which would equate to 2 EDUs. So he would pay $9,000 for a tap in for that building. I don't know what the water usage for the other 2 is because those 2 are inside the private facility, and there's 1 meter that picks it all up. So those would be, for now, until something would happen, we would have to estimate those as 1 EDU. So you're looking at a total of $18,000 in tap-in fees. So, but what he wants to do is he just wants to pay $9,000 for 1 tap and use 1 tap only for all 3 buildings.
It's one piece of property, like the tax, or are each building on their own?
They're each building. I did not go that far into it, what they are. I just received this yesterday.
So there are 3 separate buildings.
Aaron, the document that I
Yeah, it is.
gave everybody, highlighted this section that I saw was applicable.
we've had other situations like this. If I'm not mistaken, the old church up in Lawrence at the top of the hill, that's Greystoke, Colwyn, I forget what the exact name of it is, but there's the church and then there's the rectory. There were two separate taps paid for those buildings. He didn't use, you know, each one got its own tap and he paid its own tap after determining whether it was,
This is,
And this is in place
This
right
is-
now, what
yeah.
you pulled out.
this is before the underpass on the left side, going down. What's the name?
it's
It's where kick line is.
kick line, it's the SCB Capital Georgetown LLC.
I guess it doesn't make any difference because section 905 says that each building has to have their own tap in.
Right, it really doesn't matter. These are three
This-
independent buildings.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not a row. But I'm not seeing, I can see these properties. I see a Stephen
one tax?
Matheny, a Snyder, a Nicholas Snyder, a George Haley, and and a Joshua Kleinsmith. Is this after Creekside Drive? Does that make any sense?
No, that's on the other, that's.
No, it's
between
before
bridge
the
and
overpass, it's,
From the top before the underpass.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm on the hillside going down.
right here, Brad.
We got,
Little
doesn't
Haley's
look,
over by the creek.
so am I looking at the wrong thing? You're on Georgetown.
There's Georgetown, where are you at?
It's
You're
Geor-
right in here.
It's right here?
You're right back in here.
Okay, Montour Ivy Place.
Right, yep, you're looking back in
So
there.
it's one property, but it doesn't matter. It's three independent buildings.
You're right.
And they're operated by three different entities. I mean, it's just like three people living on one piece of property. I mean, this tells us what it does.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't,
it is unfortunate, but the rules are from the, the
I mean, we've applied this to
current
everyone
rules
else.
and regs.
And again, he asked me if I would present something to the board, and that's, you know, I would do it for any resident that would ask. But I told him it's based on what our rules and regulations specify.
No, I just mentioned at the outset of that paragraph, again, Roseanne may have thoughts when we get together reviewing the rules and regs, but it says unless written permission is
Right.
obtained.
Right.
I'm not familiar enough with the specific logistics here. I am generally, I know that area because of our condemnation, but, you know, there's permissive language there in the event that you wanted to make an exception.
Right.
But, you know, you open that door in the event that, you know, others come with a similar claim. I mean, if there was, you know, again, not knowing enough about the detail, I just wanted to point out that there is permissive language there in the event that you wanted to do something.
Does each building have its own water bill? Do we know that?
No, because basically at the end of the day, when you come into that facility, so far into, there is a water meter pit that's PA Americans that feeds the entire facility. And then it just branches off, and then that one water meter, just, there's services that branch off. There's not individual water meters for individual buildings.
Well, how would we be able to tell the usage then?
You'd have to-
Don't we go by PA American
I
Waters?
think PA American Water, because we ran that new service line through there, I think PA American Water is eventually going to make each one of those buildings get their own water meter.
My guess is in the day when that building was newer, it was probably one complex with three individual buildings for a different purpose. But now, since time has gone by, they lease it out to different people. I just don't want to get us to, I mean, I'd like to consider it, but at the same time, I don't want to consider something that could hurt us later when a new developer comes in and says, hey, you did that for the other guy. And so we're faced with infrastructure that was set up to be probably one business with three functions separated, and now
Right.
they're leased
They're
out.
setting precedents by.
And then I wonder,
changing
even
it.
within that industrial park, if you would give forgiveness in this case, does that open the door for other properties in that industrial park to make the same claim?
I think the other buildings in the industrial park, they're single buildings. There's no situation like this where he owns three buildings that are each separate. Think like there's there is a landscaper, which is it's one building that it's like a garage that, each person uses, but there's one service to that building.
See, I think just from my experience, Larry, you may have some thoughts on this as well, but in the future, if you have one service line, which is really what he's looking for, right? And then businesses get sold, there's a backup, they come to us, who's in charge, but there are issues in the future that can emanate from allowing that single service lateral. However, I mean, if you are gonna do anything, and again, just food for thought, that in mandating compliance, you're also getting 3 tap fees, right, for that situation. I mean, do you wanna, as you had said, Brad, do you wanna leave that door open for additional consideration on the tap fee, maybe?
Well, if you could modify the agreement or modify the regulation, then you can probably modify the tap-in fee too and say, okay, well, this does apply, but you don't get the same tap-in fees if you're doing it like everybody else. Maybe
And wrap it around the property.
yeah, we have to do something so that maybe we say this is something that's based on a certain date or, a time frame from when a building was established, and so that going forward, it doesn't apply. But if you have something that was built before 1970 or something, that this is something that we can maybe be
See,
flexible on.
That's, what you just said is why I thought that when we look at the rules and regs again, this paragraph would be worthy of some more discussion.
Right.
But in fairness to Mike and guidance right now, I think unless and until that would change, that has to be the position. Do we tell this gentleman, and again, I'm not suggesting we do it, I'm just throwing this
Talking about
out.
it.
Do you tell that gentleman that there may be some consideration given to reviewing this in the months ahead, maybe give this guy a delay for the enforcement? I wouldn't want to mislead him, because I think we'd have to be clear to say that it may very well be that we hold the line on it. But I don't know, it's just a thought. It's just,
Well, I think we're discussing it, and if it gets to the point where someone wants to pressure into a decision, we can just always fall back and say, this is what our regulation says,
Yeah.
and that's it.
It is worthy of a
If you
discussion.
want to stop the conversation, we can do that right now.
but I think
Is there any precedence from Teodori Industrial Park?
No, not that I know of, because those were all single buildings that were kind of built as that was going. I don't think there's anything like that. My suggestion on this, for right now, is the question was asked, is it one water bill or there are multiple water meters? I think I need to get a little bit more information from him so we can make a good decision on what's going on here and kind of ask him exactly what his intention is here. And then once we know a little bit more, we can go back. But it's just something I wanted to try to make sure everybody was aware of, that, this is what was asked of us.
It brings up good information that the Rules and Regs Committee needs to evaluate.
What if he converts it into a condo or a studio flat, and all of a sudden you have 25 living units coming out of one? Then we are burdened with that.
With that,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's the sort of thing that I can see the future growth is, what's the intent, right?
the only other point I'd make is that in fact, Pat pointed out that come next meeting, you'll probably be in a position to authorize us to proceed to enforce. And, I'm not sure we're gonna have an answer by that next meeting
Right.
on that. So I think maybe what we said, we wouldn't file them all at one time anyway. But that maybe the consideration would be that without taking a position, the message to Mike for the message to people is that this is our rule. But if we wait, and we're not gonna file all these enforcements at one time, and maybe this could be on the last wave of the filing allowing a little more time for the Rules and Regs Committee to discuss. Is that workable?
I think, but I also think that, Mike, you can do a little more homework on what their intent is and with the water service and other.
And I kind of agree that, you know, what you're saying, Ramel, about something like this one can be later on in enforcement. I think how we're looking at it is if somebody's calling in and now they got this second letter, or they're calling in and saying, hey, I'm working on trying to get connected.
Right.
I think we're going to look at that, how you go for enforcement, I don't know what's right, what's wrong, but you would more or less look for the ones that have made no contact with the authority, have ignored all the letters, ignored everything. I would think that would be your first ones that you would look at over somebody that called in and said, hey, I'm trying, I'm aware of this, I'm working on it, you do whatever. Like I've been trying to explain to residents is just call in and explain to us what's going on. Let us know, you need a little bit more time, we can see what's going on there, but no communication, just thinking it's going to go away by ignoring it. That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think at next meeting, Aaron, if that's acceptable, maybe the motion would be to authorize commencement of those proceedings. We have some things teed up in that regard, or close to teed up, and maybe with the proviso that it's managerial discretion on the course that the solicitor takes. So Mike could feed us the ones to begin and hold back the ones he wants to hold back.
Yeah, they're all going to be done within a certain period of time anyway, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sounds good. Any other questions or concerns there?
I think so.
No, ma'am.
All right, we've got a couple motions. Do I hear a motion to accept or adoption of the safety manual for Cecil Township Municipal Authority?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And a big thank you on that one to Craig and Brad for all the efforts there. Appreciate
welcome.
getting that done. Next motion is to authorize the letter to M&T Trust Company in regard to capital improvements and redemption of funds transfer. I think that was in our packet to
Yes.
review.
That's something that we do twice a year. If there's any extra money from the bond transfer, that we can transfer that over, but usually there's just enough to make the bond payment.
I'll make that
They have that letter
Okay.
twice a year.
I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Any correspondence this evening?
No.
Okay. Committee reports, we did hear about the safety. We just approved that manual. Rules and regs, sounds like we're going to postpone for another month and start to pick that up again later in the fourth quarter. Nothing for human resources right now. The budget committee will need to start up again, so.
I did take a quick prelim with the budget. I'll get with Shanna this week and print out some numbers. The big caveat's gonna be is what Cannonsburg Houston does with their rate increase. I mean, I can get a budget dialed in, but until we see what they're gonna charge, it's hard to guess.
When did we receive that last year?
We usually see it late October, beginning of November, so we'll see if I can find something out sooner. I think last year, I put a 10% placeholder in there, just assuming, so I'll just try to take a look and see just to get an idea, so we know where we're at,
Okay.
so.
Budget committee, are you still good to be on, or do you want to renege this year? Okay, Brad?
Well,
All right, good.
I may volunteer Brady for it if it's okay. I don't know if
That's
it's,
fine.
he was not here tonight, so
Yeah, he got voluntold.
he's gotta do it,
Yeah,
I'll take care of
I
it.
got voluntold last year.
I know. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve payments of expenses, transfer of funds, et cetera, for our expenses, invoices, payroll tax?
I'll make that motion.
Go ahead.
Okay. A second.
Roll call vote?
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye?
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
All right, nobody is in attendance for comments from the floor, so, and we do not need a executive session tonight, so I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.